Okay guys, as you can see, I'm back at home finally. So we are home this morning and I'm having my usual weekday breakfast of 2 eggs over medium for 0 points. 2 slices of Sara Lee Delightful bread for 1 point each. I put 0 points worth of sugar-free blackberry jam and 0 points worth of parquet spray. So 2 points for the bread. Then I have my 2-point oatmeal. It's a 1/4 cup of oats, 1/2 cup of water, 1/4 cup of almond milk, 1/2 a chopped up apple, a 1/2 a teaspoon of chia seed, and a 1/2 a teaspoon of flax seed, some cinnamon and Splenda. Cook that, and that's 2 points for that huge bowl. Sorry, the baby's underneath me getting into the cabinets. And yeah, she's really getting into the cabinets. And then I have my regular everyday coffee. And coffee, of course, is 0 points. Sorry, you got my... So everything's kind of a mess since we got home because I haven't got everything put away exactly. But anyway, the coffee, it's 0 points. But then I added a 1/4 of a Premier protein shake. This morning was vanilla. And so that's 1 point for the protein shake. So altogether, breakfast this morning is... I'm having pineapple for 0 points. A Joseph's pita for 1 point, and I put 4 points worth of roast beef. I also have 1 point worth of this edamame hummus, and then I put 0 points worth of this sweet onion Walden Farms dressing. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like that. A long time ago, when I first started to try to lose 100 pounds, you know, the first time, I did like some of Walden Farms. This is a new one, though, since then. Like I said, that was 20 years ago, so that was a long time ago. Let me try it. I just put a little bit on this one to see if I like it. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. It's a little tangy. It does taste Walden Farm. Ooh, a lot tangy. Walden Farms has a distinctive flavor, and it's all coming back to me now. It does taste like the rest of the Walden Farm stuff. It's okay. It does have a little bit of a weird aftertaste. I probably won't buy it again, but I'll eat this one. It also reminds me of some other salad dressing from the 80s that my mom used to get at the health food store. But I can't remember what the brand was or what it was called. But it was a sweet onion one as well. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. Try some others later on. But that's that. So anyway, it is a 6-point lunch. 1 point for the hummus, 1 point for the pita, and 4 points for the roast beef. Well, ooh, my hair's a mess as usual. But anyway, like I said, we are back home today. I'm still going to try to do a hour walk at the gym tonight. But this is just a little walk to the swimming pool. The kids have swimming lessons. We're doubling up the next couple weeks because they missed the first week and a half because of being at my dad's. And we just couldn't get over here. I don't drive, like I said, and my husband works during the day. And my sister with a newborn, I didn't really want to ask her to take us all this way. I live about 3 towns away, about 30 minutes away from where my dad lives. So I didn't really want to do that. And plus, her car's not even big enough for all these car seats. We would have 6 car seats. Or no, 5 car seats. 5 car seats. Sometimes those 6, because sometimes we were watching one of her friend's little girls too. So sometimes it would have been 6 car seats. So my parents actually do have a 12-passenger van we could have used, but my brother was using it to move out. He just, you know from previous videos, he just recently got married, and so he's just now getting the rest of his stuff out. He had lived on his own after high school, and he was going to college, and he lived on his own for 3 or 4 years, for a while. And then he moved back in with our parents about a year ago to save up money. And so he actually had quite a bit of stuff at our parents'. Like, he had everything he had when he lived on his own. Dining room table, chairs, big stuff that you would have in your own house. Because he had rented a house for, like I said, 3 or 4 years. So he had accumulated all the stuff that you need to live on your own. So he was working on getting all that to his wife's apartment that they are living in now. And so he was using the big 12-passenger van they have. Now we have actually, me and my husband have a 12-passenger van that came from my mom, because she has a large family as well. And then we also have a 15-passenger van that came from Dad when he downsized to the 12-passenger van. Yeah, they downsized to a 12-passenger. Most of my parents' kids have grown up and left home. My dad only has 2 children, like minors, still at home, and then I have 1 adult brother still at home, but he's not really at home. I mean, he's actually a college soccer coach in another town about 2 or 3 hours away, and then he's also in the military. Like right now, he is actually stationed somewhere for the military, but overseas right now. But when he's in the United States, he kind of lives in the other, just a moment, okay, I gotta put this on pause. Let's see. Okay, so my phone is almost dying, so I was trying to see what I can do about that right now. But anyway, so when he's at home, he's really not at home. He really lives at the college during the week where he coaches soccer, and then he just comes. Hey, you guys, you gotta walk, babes. My kids decide just to stay on the sidewalk. So he lives at the college where he coaches during the week, and he only comes to my parents' house on the weekends. And it's just because he's a really light sleeper. He always has been a really light sleeper. And he does not like college life. He is not about the college life. He is not a partier. He has been with the same woman since like he was 14 years old, and now he's like 28. He's, in fact, they're probably going to get married soon. But I mean, he's not the partying type. He's really low-key and stuff. So he does not like being at the dorm if he doesn't have to be. And he likes to come home on the weekend so he can get some sleep, peace and quiet. And quite honestly, a lot of my siblings that are his age and younger, they have never lived in the city. My parents bought the farm. I know that sounds silly, doesn't it? They did not die. They bought the farm. They bought the farm they live on when most of my siblings were either very, very young or even before they were born. And so they've all just kind of grew up on my parents' farm, which is also a nature reserve, and it's about 80 acres. It's about an 80-acre nature reserve and farm. And that's kind of a small farm, but it's not like, I live in the suburbs, and I have just like, my little property is only a ½ acre. And everybody thinks it's large for the suburbs. Most people have like 1/10 of an acre. around here of what they're, you know, 1/10 of an acre is what most city folks homes are on. 1/10 to a 20th, or 1/10 to a 5th. 0.1 to 0.2, usually around there. Like I said, I have quite a bit more than that. And my block is considered unusual. So, even though an 80-acre farm or nature reserve is small, when you're talking about farms and nature reserves, it's large piece of property compared to people who live in the city. And so they're just not used to having to have neighbors that you can see and hear and stuff. They're used to just, you know, very quiet. You never hear anybody, you never see anybody. Because, I mean, you've seen the video of my parents' property. They planted trees all around where you don't see neighbors or anything. You just see the forest and the trees that the nature reserve that they have built. So, when most of them have grown up and moved to the city, all of us has pretty much moved to the city. I have one little brother who lives in a suburb, but it's a college town as well. Manhattan, Kansas. It's a college town, like where Kansas University and stuff is located. And I think he lives in about the smallest town of any of us, except for me. I live in suburbs. But I lived in New York City for quite a while. So, but everybody else lives in a city now that's grown up. And most of us just, you know, after living in the country, it's an adjustment. So that's why he comes home on weekends, you know. Because it's the only place he can really get some rest. And, you know, it's just what we're kind of used to. My, let me try to think what I was going to say about that. Oh, my husband is actually because of my parents' farm that he decided to move to Kansas. I was perfectly fine living in New York for the rest of my life, actually. And the funny thing is, when we were dating and we were starting to get serious, well, in our religion, we're kind of serious when we're dating. It's, you know, to look for a marriage mate. But when it was getting time to, like, you know, are we going to continue this or not, you know, he was like, I just want you to know, if we get married, I am never leaving New York. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn. I'm never leaving New York. I love the city. I have a great job in the city. I have no reasons to ever leave. And, you know, you're from Kansas. If you marry me, you'll have to move here, and don't get any ideas that I'm going to ever move to Kansas. Because that's just not what I'm ever going to do. And I said, that's okay. I had always wanted to live in New York City, actually. The funny thing is I was actually born in Long Island. So, yeah, my hair's such a mess. But I was actually born in Long Island, and I always wanted to live in New York City or Long Island. I didn't care which. I just wanted to live there, you know, for like ever. That's some of my family used to tell my mom she needed to talk to me that I should not be moving to New York. That is a crazy idea, you know, because I would say that from very young, that that's where I wanted to live. And so I was fine with that. And we lived there for like a long time, you know, 10 years of our marriage we lived there. And about 8 years in, we had my oldest daughter Leela about 6 years into our marriage. And that is when we started coming back to Kansas a lot more. Before, we would only like come, well, actually we only came a few times to Kansas in our marriage, and most of the time we would just meet my parents in Missouri and do stuff in Missouri, because
I'm not a big fan of Kansas. I like Missouri better. So we would just meet my parents in Missouri because they always vacationed in Missouri anyway. Both my mom and my dad, even though they have separate families, they both vacationed in Missouri, and they both vacationed usually at the same time. Even when I was growing up, they always vacationed at the same time in Missouri. So I would actually usually go up to Missouri or over to Missouri with one and come back with the other. It was kind of funny that way. And so we just started meeting them in Missouri until I had Leela. And then we started coming back a lot more because my dad would pay for us to fly down and, you know, visit more with Leela, because it was just cheaper to pay for us, the 3 of us, to fly here than, like I said, I have a lot of siblings, and so it's cheaper for him to pay for the 3 of us to fly there than the 12, or wasn't 12 anymore, 11 of them to come up to New York. So, although they did come up to New York once in a while, they still came up to New York at least once or twice a year. Even before I had Leela, my parents would come up at least once or twice a year with all the kids. Yep, all the family. They would come. And, but anyway, they started paying, though, for me and Vincent to come here more often. We still paid to come to the Missouri vacation every year. We'd stay about 2 or 3 weeks in Missouri every year. But then they started, like I said, paying for us to come 3 or 4 times a year at least. And so we would come. She's coming. And because of my husband spending so much time on their farm, he was like, I really actually like this. I like this country life compared to city life of New York. And so he was the one that wanted to move here to Kansas after a while. He's like, you know what, I think we should move to Kansas. It's just easier. You can get around. There's more stuff to do. I mean, yes, there's a lot of stuff to do in New York if you want to take all day, you know, ride the subway all day. And with kids, it's just very difficult and expensive. And here, most things are really inexpensive to do with families, and there's a lot of family stuff to do. Where in New York, most stuff, there was a few things geared at kids, like the Brooklyn Children's Museum, the Natural History Museum, the Modern Art Museum, stuff like that. They had things for kids, but the Central Park, the what was that? The Bronx Zoo, stuff like that. But again, we lived in Queens, so it'd take us all day getting on the Long Island Railroad and going from transfer to transfer train to train to get to these things. And then with the baby and stroller and going up and down, all of the trains are 3 flights of stairs, either up or down. And so, yeah, that was not fun with a stroller and a baby and all the stuff that comes with a baby. We did it, but it was just difficult. And like I said, stuff was still expensive. But here, there's tons of stuff for kids to do, families to do, and you just get in your car and zip there and zip home. And nothing takes really more than 20 minutes. So he kind of liked that. And he liked just being out on the farm and being secluded, not seeing anybody for a little bit, and just being able to relax. So, yeah. So he liked that. And so that was his idea. But anyway, we are already here at the pool where the kids are going to have the swimming lessons today. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. Okay, we went to the swimming pool today with the kids, so I had some snacks there. I had some 2-point chips and also a, oh yeah, 1 bar, the pumpkin spice for 7 points. So 9 points in snacks at the pool. And then I'm having a 0-point dinner. It's black beans that I mashed up with 2 eggs over medium and some salsa, all 0 points. And then I'm having this as a snack right before bed.
And it is peaches and cream. It's half of the container, so it's 6 points. And it is, you'll have to watch my review for that next week. So anyway, it's a brand new flavor, the seasonal flavor that just came out. And then, whoop, that went away. Let me see here. And that's how many steps I walked. Half the day. I only wore it half the day, but I got the 10,000 steps. And that's it for today. See ya.